And then also I'd like to thank Conifer Jazzercise for water. So be sure and get some water if you need some. We have coffee back there. And then Sharon Troke of My Mountain Town for videotaping the meeting tonight. And it'll be on the My Mountain Town website. So be sure and go there if you would like to see more of the meeting. Okay. So the speakers tonight have been asked to present just the facts and not in support or in opposition of any development, person, business, anything like that. Most of you have been here before, so you know the drill. There's no comments, no questions during the presentations. They'll be done at about 8 o'clock, and then at 8 o'clock we'll have an open house segment when you can go talk to the presenters and ask them questions, whatever at that point. So, gosh, what's going on around here? We have so many speakers here tonight to tell you about that. First of all is Melanie Swearingen. She is the Conifer Chamber Director, and she is going to talk about what's going on around Conifer. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you for having me tonight. A couple exciting things that we have in the works. We've been talking about the Meyer House. Has anybody heard about that, or a few people have heard about that? Wonderful. So for those that have not heard about that, the Conifer Chamber, Conifer Area Council, and Conifer Historical Society have partnered together, and we are working with Open Space to try to turn the Meyer House into a tourism, or a visitor center, I should say. So we applied for a grant back in the fall. We applied for $25,000. They awarded us $50,000. So we're excited about that. They're excited about the partnership. They've never done anything like this before with the houses that they have. So we went down last week and started the planning process. So at this stage, we're kind of in the dreaming stage of what we want this center to look like. And from there, we create a plan, which will take about 4 to 6 weeks. And from there, we kind of look at that and decide what architects we can bring in, or what designers we need to bring in, and figure out how much it's going to cost. And then we start the process of looking for additional funds through grants and other resources. So this is the time to dream. So if you have ideas or thoughts of what you would like that to look like, please reach out to me or to Shirley here, or to anybody on the Conifer Historical Society. They would love to hear the ideas, because this is the time to kind of make it and turn it into what the community wants to see. So that's the first thing that's exciting. Number 2, we are coming up with, in a couple weeks, the 285 Improvement Group, which is a committee of the Conifer Chamber. We'll be meeting with CDOT and our county commissioners, our state reps, and that's continuing. We've been meeting with them for over 3 years now to work on projects on 285. So if you're interested in being a part of that group, please let me know and we'll get you some more information. And then lastly, Elevation Celebration is coming up on the 27th and 28th of July, so the last weekend of July. The 5K, 10K fun run is being sponsored by Colorado Jones, which is the new restaurant going in over near Safeway. And then Sano Hospital and American Restoration are sponsoring the festival. So if you're interested in being a vendor or a sponsor or getting involved with that, please let us know. We need volunteers with that as well. That's it for me. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Melanie. Lots going on this summer. Okay, next we have Zach Taylor with Staunton State Park. If you have not been there lately, there is so much going on, and Zach is going to tell you a little bit about it.
Thank you, Shirley. Good evening, everybody. I am Zach Taylor. I'm the park manager at Staunton State Park. Like Shirley had mentioned, we always have something going on at Staunton. So, real fast in the room, how many have been to Staunton State Park? It's fantastic. Those of you that didn't raise your hand, shame on you. Get out there, get outside, go enjoy the park, go enjoy the outdoors. So we're gearing up for our summer season. Obviously, we're still in winter, which is fantastic for the staff as we prepare for a busy summer again. But obviously, as you guys know, the park is popular. Camping is open right now. It is open year-round. It's on a reservation system, but we have 25 walk-in backcountry campsites. Per the master plan of the park, we designated them as backcountry sites. We've eliminated the campfire option there in each campsite. We do provide fire pits and fire grills for those who do wish to come out and cook food or whatnot. We do allow that white gas or your propane, as long as you can turn off the ignition source. So we work very closely with our fire brethren here to obviously take care of the park and the forest, but do all the forest mitigation. We're still constantly doing fire management around the park. So a couple things I want to mention. With the spring weather and the winter weather turning into summer weather, be bear aware, please. If you can, try to keep your trash cans locked up. And then obviously when you're in the park, pack it in, pack it out for us, and we'll try and take care of those bears and keep them certainly out of the neighborhood. I do want to mention real fast, I'll cut my time a little bit short, you get yelling at me, right? But on May 19th, it's a Sunday at 10 o'clock. You guys are all welcome to come to the grand opening of our visitor center. So if you guys, obviously those of you that have been there in the last year or so have seen some construction of this visitor center. It's going to be both a combined parks and wildlife center, so you can not only get your fishing, your hunting licenses, but obviously get your park information as well as your wildlife information from this visitor center. So it's an office for both our park staff and our wildlife staff, but it's also a resource for you guys as well. We have a 1,200 square foot multi-purpose room, basically an educational center which is reservable, where you'll be able to come to a meeting, or a party, or a wedding, as well as a lot of our great displays for our education. So Sunday, May 19th at 10 o'clock is the grand opening for the public to come in and experience the visitor center at Stockton State Park. So that's what I have.
Thank you, Zach. Okay, next we have a whole crew from the Conifer, or to talk about the Conifer Library. We've got Sherry, Samantha, Jennifer, and Jessica. There you go.
Thank you. Hi guys, I'm Sherry Seymour from the Evergreen Library, sometimes subs over at Conifer Library. This is our new staff member that y'all have over here at Conifer Library. This is Samantha Audsley. So please make sure that you go over and give her a warm welcome up at the high school, okay? We also have a new supervisor. This is our patron experience supervisor, and her name is Jenny Kim. She shares time both over at Evergreen and Conifer. So if you happen to see her, please also give her a nice welcome. And Jessica is our new manager of the mountain libraries. She just came in from Illinois. Both of you from Illinois, is that right? Yeah. So they are new to the area, so please give them a warm welcome when you come into the library and say hello, okay? Lots of great things going on. We have Mission to Read. Just started today. Our summer reading program is up and running. Pre-registration is today. Starts today. We have our new summer catalog is out. It has all of the information about summer reading in it. It has all of the programs, all of the events, everything that you need to know. Our goal this summer is 50 million minutes. So if y'all had signed up, it's for everybody from 0 to whatever. So come on over, sign up online, track online, help us reach our goal. We'll give a gift to the Foothills Animal Shelter again, and we'd be really happy to talk to you more about that at the library. We also, do you want to talk about the Conifer? I'll let you talk about the Art House. This is the Conifer Art House, and I'll let Samantha introduce that.
So one of our staff members, Chris McAllister, is a pretty great artist, and he does art lessons every other week on Tuesday evenings. It's really casual. You can drop in and see what it's about if you're not sure you're into it, but you just have a little group together. They're all painting, help each other out. It's a lot of fun. I would absolutely be there if I wasn't always working. So please do check that out.
All right, and Jenny, Jessica, do you need to say anything? Want to say anything? Say hello?
Hello. Yeah, just come see me at the library. We do so much more than you think. And one of the things that we'll talk about is our culture pass in just a second. But it's so nice to see all your faces, and I hope it becomes a regular thing at the library for sure.
Hi everyone. Just wanted to introduce myself tonight. It's really great to be here in the area and be involved in the libraries in this community. So I hope to see you around at a lot of community events, and especially at the library.
All right, thank you so much. Have a great evening. Stay warm. We'll see you over at the library.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, next we have Peggy Catlin. She is our RTD director with RTD. So, Peggy, what's new?
Thank you. Well, we do have quite a few updates. As many of you may have heard, the G line is open from Wheat Ridge through Arvada down to Denver Union Station. It was a long time coming, 2 years in the making, in part because of regulatory issues with the Federal Railroad Administration as well as the Public Utilities Commission. But we got that all worked out, and it opened on April 26th. And because it took such a long time to open, and because a number of our residents endured long waiting period, as well as the horns going constantly, especially in downtown Arvada, the board of directors voted to have free rides on the G line for 2 weeks. So through May 11th, I would encourage you to go down to Ward Road and I-70 and take a ride on the G line if you haven't already. A couple of things about the G line is with the A line out to the airport, they are commuter rail technology as opposed to light rail technology. Both of them operate electrically, but a commuter rail can travel at a faster speed, up to 79 miles an hour, versus the light rail, which maxes out at 55 miles an hour. And there are fewer stops on the commuter rail cars, but they're very comfortable, and now you can get a trip from the west side all the way to the airport, and you don't have to travel through the underground bus bay to change from light rail over to commuter rail. So I think it's really a convenient trip for a lot of folks, and that is $10.50. So we're also opening the 3 stops on the light rail corridor from the Tech Center South down to Ridgegate Parkway on the 17th of May. So those are some grand openings, and the grand opening theme with State Parks, I think, was here. One last thing I wanted to report is that about a year ago, the CV line from up here was on life support, and it was really facing risk of elimination. But I'm really happy to report that its performance is better, numbers are up, and so we're going to be able to keep that line. So just wanted to let you know that that's a positive news for the mountain communities. Thank you.
Peggy. And believe it or not, the 2020 census is already getting underway. And tonight we have Catherine Green here to talk just a minute about the census as soon as they get it on here. Okay, Catherine.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just going to show this little video rather than talk about the jobs. If anybody's interested in working for the census, they can come visit me after. The other pieces of the census, why it's important to us as both a community and a state, is that for each person that is undercounted, the state loses somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000 a year per person. And as you know, probably you know, that over 25% of the state budget is federal money that comes back, and that's dependent on the number of people who are counted in the census. So we don't want anybody to forget to fill out their forms April 1st, 2020, when they come out for you. The other part of it is the census will determine, I know we're going to get, probably with the population increase, 1 congressional seat. If it increases as much as it has, we may get 2. And also the census is how the state is divided for the state legislature. They use those population figures, and that's how they figure out how to divide the districts up. And we want to be sure we get everything all set, all ready, all together, so that that happens. There is a fair amount of prep work for the census, and that's why we are hiring. But basically, we want all of the counties, we have people in the county and in the state who are helping us out. Some of the cities are also on what they call complete count committees, and they are helping on the side of getting people to fill out the census. The other thing I want to make sure and emphasize is that census information is totally confidential. Once we receive your census information, it's actually, your personal information is totally stripped off, and they put a barcode on it, and that's what's done with it. The information in the barcode is how they put the census statistics together. So be sure and let anybody know about that. And I will also say that since the court has not completely decided on the citizenship question, I can't say what's going to happen with that. It's dependent on them. And thank you, and please come see me if you're interested in the job or if you know somebody who might be.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay, so next we have Janice Spiker with CDOT, and just going to give a little bit of an update. She's been kind of under the weather, so we're so glad she's here. Janet.
Good evening. As Shirley said, my name is Janice Spiker, and I'm a resident engineer with CDOT's Region 1, which I cover design projects for all of Jefferson, Gilpin, and Clear Creek counties. And just here tonight to talk about updates for CDOT in general, and then things that are related to your community. So first off, Steve Harrelson was here last time, I believe in March, and we had just recently had our new executive director, Shoshana Liu, confirmed earlier in February. Since then, she's been actively recruiting and filling many of our upper-level strategic positions. So we're awaiting kind of a vision and formal strategic plan from her. But we have heard what is on the table is what we're looking at is going to from a 4-year statewide transportation plan to a 10-year transportation plan. And really what that means is that these projects would be locked in for a longer period of time, so that planning effort would be a 10-year effort, which gives some of these projects that get pushed forward under a certain leadership at the governor's level. Once someone else comes in and newly elected, sometimes that often shifts directions and the projects don't get delivered. So one of the pros is that it would kind of lock in some of these projects that would be able to be built, and there would be less risk to these projects being shelved. With that, I think one of the projects we talk about most often is the Kings Valley Drive interchange. So for those of you that don't know, CDOT is underway for design of a grade separated or overpass interchange at Kings Valley Drive. We are currently undergoing environmental and geotech work, so if you haven't already seen them out, I think they said May 1st they were going to begin, for the first part of May. They will be out at that location doing geotech investigation, trying to determine soils classification for us. This will allow us to better determine what wall types and foundation types we need for our structure, which will allow us then to better cost out our project. As we've been saying, we think it's about an $8 to $10 million project, of which we have about $6.2 million of faster safety. We recently went after a build grant opportunity within CDOT to try to leverage additional funding for the project. However, it didn't quite meet the criteria, so it didn't make it to the second round, but we're continuing to pursue other avenues. As Melanie had mentioned, we're meeting with the 285 Tourism District, and we're trying to always generate new ideas and avenues to go seek out that funding. Another update is, for many of you, you likely know that we are actively undergoing construction on 285. We're doing bridge rehabilitation between South Turkey Creek and Foxton Road. We're repairing 4 structures or rehabbing them, essentially milling off the top level of the deck, placing a waterproofing membrane, and then replacing HMA pavement on top. This will hopefully increase the service life of those structures and also help some of the drainage issues that are occurring at that location. They're looking to complete by the 1st of July, so hopefully by the holiday, they will be off the road and ready to complete that project. And then another update that will be ongoing hopefully this fall, so we're still under design of the project, but for those of you who are from Evergreen or take the State Highway 74 commute, we will be doing active rockfall mitigation this fall. We hope it to be only a single season worth of construction, therefore we'd be done by the end of the calendar year. More information will be coming out for those that will be impacted by that commute. And again, that would be a project for this fall and winter. So again, I thank you for being here tonight and giving me an opportunity to chat with you, and have a good evening. Stay safe this summer, and thank you.
Thank you, Jana. As most of you know, we had to reschedule our February meeting to March, and then of course we had to reschedule our April meeting to May. So it's been kind of an interesting year. At our last meeting, we were going to have Mountain Resource Center, and they could not make it, the rescheduled date. So we have Peter Brettel, who is a treasurer of the Board of Directors of Mountain Resource Center, and he's going to give a little bit of an update for Mountain Resource Center. Peter.
Thank you. How many of you have heard of the Mountain Resource Center? Well, that's clever, because back in November I was asked to be on the board and I'd never heard of it. So I was invited to come on the board, which meant that I better find out what on earth Mountain Resource Center did. So I asked them, and I got a fantastic answer. The answer was, we are there to stop people becoming homeless. And I said, how do you measure that? Because if you're successful, you don't know, do you? But once I got into it, I discovered that it's much more than that, and it's been really exciting being part of this organization and all the things that they do actually do, which helps to stop people becoming homeless. And surprisingly, up in the mountain, that is a major issue for a number of people. But the advocacy, the basic needs assessment, the workforce services, parents as teachers, home visitations, healthy living programs, mental health services, and the food pantry, which is so well supplied and has been completely revamped recently. So if you are a volunteer, you'll know that, and if not, you may have been up there and seen what has been going on. And then the other one that is new to us is veteran support, which has been added to the program this year, and it's exciting that we can be able to provide that as well. But the most exciting thing for you, because you're obviously key members of the community and you turn up to these sort of things, is that we are expanding the resale store. And so those of you who know that the resale store is in the Staples shopping complex, and it's extremely well used and high quality donations from all of you, well, we're expanding it. We've got if those of you remember, there's a next door building called Kurds, and they moved out, and we're taking that space. And we're having a grand opening on a date very soon.